Woohoo!
I truly believed I would never succeed. There was a time when every morning felt heavy, like I was waking up just to fail again. Nothing seemed to work. No matter how hard I tried, I watched others move forward while I stayed in the same place, feeling stuck, invisible, and tired people around me. Didn't always say it, but I could feel it in their silence, in their looks, as if they expected nothing from me, and slowly I started believing the same. I stopped dreaming big because dreaming started to hurt. I told myself, maybe this is just who I am. Maybe I am not meant for success. Maybe I should just accept it. There were nights I lay awake, staring into the darkness, thinking about all the things I couldn't do, all the times I tried and failed. All the moments that made me feel small, and then one day something quiet happened. Nothing magical, no sudden miracle, just a simple thought that refused to leave my mind. What if I am not failing? What if I am just not done yet? That thought stayed with me. It followed me into the next morning, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel completely broken. I decided to try again, not in a big dramatic way, but in a small quiet step. I did one thing, just one thing, even when I didn't feel ready the next day. I did it again. It was not perfect, it was not fast, and it was definitely not easy, but something inside me started to change. I stopped focusing on how far I had to go and started noticing that I was actually moving slowly. The fear became smaller, and my courage became just a little bit stronger. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into moments. I could finally look back and see that I was not the same person anymore. I was still learning, still growing, still making mistakes, but I was no longer standing still, and then it hit me. I was never a failure. I was just someone who hadn't reached their moment yet. If you feel like you can't do it, if you feel like giving up right now, just remember this: you're not done. Your story is not over, and the person you are becoming is stronger than the one who almost gave up. So don't stop, because one day you will look back at this moment and realize this is where everything started. And even after realizing all of this, the journey did not suddenly become easy. There were still days when doubt came back, quietly whispering the same old fears, telling me that maybe I was just pretending to be strong. Sometimes I would take a few steps forward and then feel like I had fallen miles behind again, but this time something was different. I no longer believed every negative thought that came into my mind. I started questioning, is this really true, or is this just fear talking? And most of the time it was just fear. So instead of stopping, I kept going, even when progress felt invisible, even when no one noticed, even when it felt like nothing was changing, because deep inside I knew something was changing. Me? I began to understand that success is not a single moment. It is not one big achievement that suddenly makes everything perfect. It is built in silence, in small unseen efforts, in the days when you show up, even when you don't feel like it. There were moments when I wanted to quit again, moments when everything felt too slow, too difficult, too far away, but I remembered who I used to be, the person who had already given up. And I knew I could not go back there, so I kept choosing to move forward, even if it was just one small step at a time, and slowly life started responding. Opportunities appeared where there were none before. People started noticing the effort I once thought was invisible. Things did not happen overnight, but they did happen, and one day, I found myself standing in a place I once thought I could never reach. Not because I was the most talented or the luckiest, but because I did not stop, because I kept going when it was hard. Because I believed just enough to take the next step. You are still in that place where everything feels uncertain, where you feel like nothing is working. Listen carefully, you are closer than you think. You are growing in ways you cannot yet see, and one day all those small steps, all those quiet efforts, will come together and create something powerful. So keep going, even when it is slow, even when it is messy, even when no one is watching, because this is the part of the story where most people give up, and this is exactly the part where you must. Not your future is not built in comfort. It is built right here in the moments when you decide not to quit. And one day, without even realizing it, everything feels different. Not perfect, not magical, not suddenly easy, but different in a way that feels real. You wake up, and the weight is not as heavy as it used to be. The thoughts are quieter. The fear is still there, but it no longer controls you. You look back at the person you were, and for a moment it feels unreal. How lost, how broken, how close. You were too giving up, and yet you didn't. That is the moment everything changes. Not because the world finally gave you a chance, but because you gave yourself one. You begin to see that every slow step, every failure, every night you thought you couldn't go on was actually building something inside you. Strength, patience, belief. The things no one can take away from you, and then it becomes clear you were never behind, you were never too late. You were just becoming someone who understands struggle, becoming someone who doesn't the break easily, becoming someone who keeps going even when it hurts. And now when challenges come, they still do you down to root from deep. You face them with a quiet confidence, because you know something. Most people forget you survived your hardest days, so whatever comes next, you can handle it too. And maybe you are still on your way. Maybe you are still figuring things out. That's okay. You don't need to have everything right. Now, you just need to keep moving, keep believing, keep choosing yourself, even on the days it feels difficult. Because the truth is simple. The person you once dreamed of becoming, you are already becoming them right here, right now. So take a deep breath and keep going. Your story is not just continuing, it is finally beginning. Your time is coming. Keep believing, keep fighting. Don't just watch. Go out and prove them wrong. Thank you for being part of the journey. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.